Welcome back to Hardball. Journalist Stephen A. Smith hosted his own TV and radio show on ESPN. He's written for the Philadelphia Inquirer and appears frequently on MSNBC. Stephen joins us now from 30 Rock to talk about the life and legacy of Michael Jackson. Stephen, you had to have a heart of stone to not be moved by what went on in the Staples Center today. I felt like I was watching a hero's send-off, a hero's funeral. Was Michael Jackson a hero to the African-American youth?
I wouldn't go that far. What I will say, he was a hero to anybody that was affiliated with the music industry, because we all recognized him to be arguably the greatest entertainer of all time. I mean, his music was absolutely phenomenal. I just finished playing it all day long during 4th of July. Obviously, his dance moves, some of the things that he did in the music industry, 7, hit singles with the Thriller album, 50 million copies sold, the top of the Billboard charts. I mean, first guy on MTV, African American. You look at so many of the things that he did throughout his career, it was clearly illustrious. And so when you call him an iconic brand, or you look at him in that fashion, it's strictly in the sense of his music, not really anything else.
Well, and I would assume that his relationship to Black America had different chapters to it. And
definitely. That's a very, very good point, because the Reverend Al Sharpton alluded to that today, because, I mean, again, he was a pioneer of sorts, starting out his career at age 5, accomplishing what he accomplished through the 70s, through the 80s, when he went out on his own and left the Jackson 5, and obviously what he was able to accomplish with Thriller and the Bad album, or whatever, Off the Wall, actually, before that. The reality is that, again, you see, he basically transcended so many barriers and just walked right through them and overcame it and paved the way for a lot of people. And Al Sharpton can relate to that. But in terms of people of this generation, all they know is that Michael Jackson is one of the greatest musicians of all time, and obviously they know a few other things, or think they know a few other things about him that are less celebratory.
And what did it feel like when he started to change his appearance so dramatically in a way that seemed not even recognizable to what he was?
It depends on who you ask. To some people within the African American community, it was flat out offensive, simply because they felt like what Quincy Jones, one of the greatest music producers of all time, just alluded to publicly a couple of days ago, when he said that he felt like Michael Jackson didn't want to be black, didn't like being black. He never believed that he had vitiligo or anything like that. So to some people, it was offensive. To others, they felt sorry for him, simply because it was clear, it was crystal clear to us that he had been exploited. You have to remember that this is a guy that was a child prodigy. He was a star from the time that he was 5 years of age, a mega star, and he transcended so many things that it got to the point where he was living in a bubble. He never had the freedom to go out, party, have a good time, go to the movies, things of this nature. His brother Marlon alluded to how he had to wear disguises sometimes when he went out in public. When you have that kind of life from the age of 5 on, you know that this man has been exploited. He was never allowed to be a child, which is why it was difficult for him to let go of his childhood. And as a result of that, you're looking at other people and saying they exploited him. It's not that this guy was a bad guy. It's not that he was evil. He was exploited, and he was never given a chance to grow up into manhood.
And this network last night reran the old Martin Bashir documentary about Michael Jackson, which included details of his childhood that I had forgotten, which are really much more difficult than I had remembered, and I think very explanatory of the way his life curved in later years.
Well, I will say this isn't today to get into all of that, but what I will say is entirely, you see why Joe Jackson, the father, wasn't front and center when all of that stuff was going on. I'll leave it at that.
Exactly. Thank you, Stephen A. Smith. Up next.